Om Muni Muni Maha Munaye Swaha. 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 Om Muni Muni Maha Munaye Swaha.
With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom.
Please be seated. Let us visualize the kindness of the Triple Jewels and how wonderful and meritorious we are to be able to learn the Dharma. Therefore, with the full gratitude in heart, let us place our palms together to request Geshe to give teaching according to the well wishes and capacities of the students. Geshe, kindly give us the teaching.
Setting a proper motivation. 3 points to keep in mind. And I came to learn that some come from camp number 3, and they really have to get up very early, and then you are here, and all, particularly those from very far places, you came here with all the efforts. So let us try to take the maximum out of our being here. For that matter, whatever is being the instructed or shared, just see that it's fun is the activation of a mind, making our mind more supple with respect to the journey to enlightenment. So let's make sure that all of what is being the instructions given to you, just try to follow that to the best we can, so that we can make the most of our being here. So 3 points to keep in mind: refuge field, bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice, the refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. What to visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened Bodhisattvas, like Arabna Jushri, Arabaluteshvara, Arabajrapani, Aratara, and so forth, and of the human, the masters, Ari Nagarjuna, Bodhisattva Deva, Acharya Chandrakirti, Acharya the Buddha Palita, Acharya Viveka, then the Arya Sangha, Acharya Vasubandhu, Acharya Dignaga, Acharya Dharmakirti, and Bodhisattva Shanti Deva, Bodhisattva Shanti Rakshita, Acharya Kamalashil, and then in 11th century AD, Lama Selingpa from Indonesia, and Lama Atishthivari Sri Jnana, and Guru Padma Sambhava, and all the lineage masters of the Nyingma tradition, and the great Saint Saraha, great Saint Dilopa, the master Naropa, Jesu Marpa, Jesu Mila, Jesu Tapalaje, all these lineage masters of the Kagyu tradition, and Sachin Kuwa Yingbo, Sakya Pandit, and so forth, all the Sakya lineage masters, and Lama Tsongkhapa, whose text we are studying. And here, this is the great seat of learning, Drepung Monastery, and more precisely here in this science center, Drepung Loseling Monastery. Just think of Lama Tsongkhapa, Gyaltsen Rinpoche, Kidro Rinpoche, and all the lineage masters of the Gyaltsen tradition, and from Cholong tradition, Shalu tradition, Potong tradition, and how you visualize them, that they are so loving, caring, and embracing. From the Bodhicitta field, visualize what to visualize and how to visualize. Visualize your two grandparents and all the family members living aside, and human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, god and goddess spirits here in the locality, in the world, in the oceans, the trillions of the beings, creatures in the oceans, and trillions of beings in the wilderness, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe, living them aside. And if we have any conflict or issues with the parents or with anybody, these are the reflection of our ordinariness. These are the reflection of the true demons inside us. This is not your true nature. Your true nature is so pure. Now what we are trying to do here is learn how to transcend the ordinariness and get to meet with awaken the true nature within you, which is absolutely pure and totally fearless and with the infinite ease, which when manifested fully, your compassion extends to infinity. The wisdom just penetrates the ultimate depth of the reality, and the power becomes infinite. This is your true nature. So for the purpose of awakening this true nature, we need to, first of all, acknowledge, first of all have the conviction that each one of us, we have this Buddha nature, that the seed of perfection is within us. We're looking at the Buddha being able to benefit all the infinite beings, looking at His Holiness the Dalai Lama being able to benefit infinite beings. We all have the same potential within us. Why not we put effort to awaken this? To awaken this, we need to rely on the remedy to remove to separate this Buddha nature from the mental defilements. And this remedy, as we already know, that the only liberating factor, liberating path, is the wisdom of emptiness, to see everything like a dream, everything is subjective real, nothing objectively exists. And this must be complemented by a very powerful driving force, the motivation of bodhicitta, the desire to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, the desire to awaken this hidden treasure within us for the benefit of yourself and for the benefit of the sentient beings. And to have this very powerful, the motivation of bodhicitta, it must rest on a very serene understanding of renunciation, the desire to get away from samsara, and the desire to get away from the self-grasping ignorance, so that you stop the dream of samsara and you become fearless, liberated from the pains of samsara. With this motivation, imagine that you are leading this practice and all beings are joining us. So today we request Chavila to lead the prayers for us.
So with this in mind, let us recite the following verses while mentally invoking their profound meanings and associated experiences. On page 3. Infused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all erroneous views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Infused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all erroneous views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Infused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all erroneous views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. Sangye chodan suki chunana jamshu bardu dani japsu chi dagi jinso gipe sonam ki jula kunche sangye drupara shor. Sangye Chodam Sokhi Chunanga Janchu Badu Dani Gyapsu Shi Dalai Jinso Yipe Chonam Ki Jula Genshi Sangye Chupai Shu Sangye Chodam Sokhi Chunanga Janchu Badu Dani Gyapsu Shi Dalai Jinso Yipe Chonam Ki Jula Genshi Sangye Chupai Shu. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulation to the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulation to the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha by my accumulation to the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the host of bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, the knower of all, which leads the hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, the knower of paths, which causes the bodhisattvas with altruism to help migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and omniscience, the thorough possession of which helps the Buddhas expound a variety of teachings endowed with complete aspects of subjects. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Siddhartha, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. The essence of dependent origination mantra 3 times. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vade mahasamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vade mahasamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vade mahasamanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. Whatever is the cessation of these causes is taught thus by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-eyed and non-composite, such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, I pay obeisance. The 4 seals of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash away the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries with his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that beings are liberated. Instructions on parting from the four attachments. If you're attached to this life, you're not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered in misery's gloom. Having generated the mind of supreme enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings as my guests. I will engage in the appealing deeds of excellence of enlightenment. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Page 15. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the Tathagata, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides and said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Thus free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the Tathagata, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower rungs, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the Sangha, I prostrate. I prostrate to the Buddha, the chief of bipeds. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the supreme one. To all 3 I always prostrate with reverence. With extreme devotion do I always prostrate to all who are worthy of prostrations, through surrendering my body's numbering particles that constitute all realms. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the state of omniscience, subdue the 4 faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Next, page 31, the Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. In Sanskrit, Arya Bhagavati Pragya Paramita Hridaya Sutra, in Tibetan, Chirab Ningpo. I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. Thus did I hear at one time. The Buddha was dwelling on Vasavalchu's mountain in Rajagriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Sharadvatiputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound perfection of wisdom should look upon it like this. correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, and no phenomena. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration, and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Teyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commended the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya-Avalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you have indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharadvatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arya-Avalokiteshvara, those surrounding in their entirety, along with the worlds of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Teyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. 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 Teyatha Om Gate Gate Parasangate Bodhisvaha. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels, possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Next page, page 34, 8 verses for training the mind by Venerable Geshe Lamrim. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold and dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I had discovered jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped, or in whom I place great hopes, mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all the hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast estates that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Next, page 39, 7-limb practice. Excerpts from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary aspiration of the practice of Samantabhadra. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri. You, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you, with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle of Buddhas, numberless as particles, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugātas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense I offer to you, victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfume, sandalwood powder, hichas mangaru, all wonderful offerings in spectacular array I offer to you, victorious ones. In transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done, with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all the merits of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still in training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience to the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I now dedicate all this to the full awakening of all beings. Next page, page 42, short mandala offering.
So the mandala offering is the connecting ourselves with all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, and how we connect with the Buddhist Bodhisattvas is from our side. We are resorting any means to connect, and the best means for us is to make offerings. That way our mind is connected. Bodhisattvas, they don't require any offerings. But from our side, this is the best way by which we connect ourselves. So that anything that is good, that you have, that the world has, the whole universe has, offer them to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. So with this mind, let's say this together. This ground, adorned with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha filled and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sashebe Joshe
Dharmas of Venerable Consummate. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dharmas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps our true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Vedam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami. Next page, page 44, The Foundation of All Good Qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karmas follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this trained and supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from the perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
And for the mixed verse, we'll first say this in English, followed by the chant in Tibetan. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajpani, disturb both the demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown, jewel of the sage of the Venerable knows, Loseling Tsanpa, at your feet I make prostrations. Shabbat Shabla Sovade. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, disturb hosts the demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages of the relentless nose, Losantapa at your feet and make prostrations. Thank you, Shivala. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next is generating the mind of consummate yoga. And for that, the four practices. One is the shamatha meditation. Number two, renunciation, Dorji, then perfect in wisdom, and then to be followed by taking aspiration bodhisattva vow. So for the first shamatha meditation, 5 minutes of Next is renunciation. For the practice of renunciation, first of all, we need to remember that renunciation, many have very naive thought or understanding of renunciation. Renunciation is like a denial, self-denial. So it's because of this that oftentimes we see people who are not exposed to the authentic information. They think that Buddhism is very self-denial. It only talks about samsara, suffering, miseries, pains. This is what people think. Renunciation is not to, it doesn't mean to renounce your happiness. And also people oftentimes, when they see that, oh, I'm into Dharma, I'm into Buddhist practice, they think, oh, I'm allowed to go for picnic or have good house or good cars and so forth. There's oftentimes the people have very naive thoughts, think that Buddhism means you have to give up everything. No. Renunciation. When you say renunciation, how we just don't think about renunciation from the very broad or the bigger picture. Just start from how you started. When you go to the center, when you go to a teacher, what did you say? Oh, I have so much happiness. Please teach me how to get rid of my happiness. This is not how you started. Instead, it starts, I have a problem. So renunciation is to renounce your problems, renounce your miseries, renounce the painful tears of samsara. Is not to renounce your happiness. So that this meaning should not be adulterated with the total misconceptions. Instead, renunciation is to renounce your miseries, renounce the pains, painful experiences. We all have the Buddha nature. We all can remove the miseries. We can become fearless. We can experience infinite ease. So, how to remove these miseries? Renunciation means to renounce the miseries. To renounce the miseries is not that somebody can do a magic for you. Instead, this is what the Buddha taught, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. The first level of dependent origination, that all experiences of joys, happiness, miseries, painful tears, they should necessarily come into being by dependence on the early causes. Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena arise from the causes. And what the causes are, we need to identify the causes properly, accurately, and then work to eradicate these causes. This is how we experience the miseries being renounced, that the liberation from the miseries. For that, here we already learned, we already know that as what the Buddha taught, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava, Hetum Tesham Tathagato Hyevatat. What these causes are, cause of the miseries, they are identified by the Buddha. So what are the causes of miseries Buddha identified? So what Buddha identified, they are all being put together in a very succinct presentation by Arinagarjuna in the Mul Madhyamaka Fundamental Wisdom of the Middle Way, where Arinagarjuna indicated ceasing karma afflictions is nirvana. Karma afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the elaboration ceases into with the emptiness. So from here, we come to know the sequence, the mechanism by which all the miseries come into being, rooted to the, visibly seen to be rooted to ignorance. And where you eradicate the ignorance, the iceberg on which everything stacked on when the iceberg melts, whatever is stacked on the iceberg, they will all crumble down on their own. If you dismantle this ignorance, all what is stacked over this inappropriate attention, afflictions, contaminant karmas, and all the miseries, confusion, bewilderment, all these will crumble down on their own. Where in the experience of emptiness, you experience absolute peace. This is the true meaning of renunciation, desiring to reach that experience of emptiness where all the miseries are transcended, where all the miseries are renounced. This is the meaning of the renunciation. So to get there, we need to renounce the root, which is the ignorance. And the ignorance Buddha taught many levels of ignorance, and particularly the Buddha identified four levels of ignorance. Ignorance which misconceives impermanent phenomena as permanent, which misconceives impure things as pure, which misconceives miseries as happiness, and finally which misconceives what is empty of selfhood, as of intrinsic self-nature, intrinsically self-nature. To overcome these four levels of ignorance, Buddha taught the four seals. So we practice renunciation based on the four seals. First, all composite things impermanent. And today we'll do this known as guided meditation. And we'll do the guided meditation for like 2 or 3 days. And then later, we'll try to do on our own without being guided. Okay, so which means that, particularly those who are not exposed to this kind of practice, you just be mindful what are the instructions given that you can use this when you're doing the meditation on your own without help of somebody else guiding you. All composite things impermanent. Composite things referring to things which are composed of material parts or directional parts and the temporal parts. All composite phenomena should necessarily have temporal parts, but may not necessarily have directional parts. For example, your mind, non-physical objects like mind, time, and so forth, are impermanent phenomena, but they are not physical in nature. So therefore, they only have temporal parts. So whatever is constituted of temporal parts, parts in time, which is temporal parts, and directional parts, the material, physical parts, should necessarily be impermanent in nature. And this impermanence is of two kinds, gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. It's very important to start with the gross impermanence. What does it mean by gross impermanence? Impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. This is known as gross impermanence. Let me repeat it. Impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates, whose continuum stops. This is gross impermanence. And to start with, impermanence of death. This is so important for us to contemplate on this. This will greatly ease our mind and make our life so simple, easy, and beautiful by cutting all the unnecessary things to remember the impermanence of death. And the death, of course, is inevitable. It'll happen one day. If you don't believe in this, just imagine 200 years ago, 300 years ago, and how many beings are there on planet Earth? Maybe 3 billion, 4 billion human beings on the planet. Where are they now? Not even a single person is alive today. They're all gone. And if you still don't understand this well, seeing is believing, go to the old fortresses, the castles, the massive, the Taj Mahal, and so forth. Just go there to the different countries. You go there to the old fortresses, foreign fortresses. You go there. Just imagine this fortress, the palace, which is built 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Ordinary people, they can't even go close to this. They're being heavily guarded by the security personnel. Why? Because there's somebody there. There's somebody there who's considered so important. And then look at this gigantic, massive pyramids. What is that? These are the tombs where the burial happened, where the dead bodies were kept there. Whose dead body? The big pharaohs, kings, emperors. Where they now? Now the archaeologists, they play with these mummies. They play with these mummies. In those days, ordinary people, these archaeologists don't have any access to go close to that, the mummified spot. Now, we play with this. What is this? Impermanent. They're all gone. However powerful, they're all gone. However wealthy, they're all gone. However youthful, they're all gone. This is reality. Those days, there were parents, children, and the children had so much expectation their life, and the parents likewise wish the best for the children, want to take pride in the children's achievement. Where they're now, whether the aspirations are fulfilled or not, they're all gone. This is what the Buddha, and it's not that they are unfortunate, they're gone. We are very fortunate, we are alive. It's a matter of time. 200 years down the line in the future, 150 years down the line in the future, guaranteed not even a single person today will be alive then. There's a saying, that's what is known as the elixir for the eternal life, for eternity. But in reality, how many these beings actually manifested that realization? So less. And evidently we don't see anywhere. And this is the reality. So it is for this reason that the Buddha taught that whatever is gathered disperses. Whatever is accumulated exhausts. And youth is followed by old age. Good health is followed by sickness. And the birth is followed by death. This is reality. Contemplate on these points, we will invariably stop. Naturally, all the unnecessary things in life, indulgences and so forth, will naturally come to an end. This is so important teaching the Buddha gave. It's for this reason that the Buddha, the first teaching the Buddha gave was on impermanence, and the last teaching the Buddha gave was also on impermanence. So with this realization, now yes, our mind calms down. Yes, all the unnecessary excitements and the indulgence, thought of indulgence, they all subside. Yes, we do see the impermanence. For example, looking at the huge, massive trees, huge, massive cactus, the vegetation, cactus trees, they don't pop up in one day, 1 month, 1 year. It takes years and years, hundreds of years, seeing that. Remember impermanence. This change did not happen overnight. It took that long number of years. Subtle impermanence. The momentariness involved with the composite phenomena. Momentariness involved with the composite phenomena is known as subtle impermanence. And all composite phenomena should necessarily have the subtle impermanence as its entity, as nature. It doesn't mean that all composite phenomena are subtly impermanent, subtly impermanent, but they have the element of impermanence, subtle impermanence. I have hands, I'm not hands. All composite phenomena have the element of subtle impermanence. They are not subtly impermanent. This distinction must be made. What is meant by subtle impermanence? Momentariness involved. How do we know this? It's so important. Once we contemplate on the gross impermanence, it's so important for us to then slowly move to the contemplation, meditation, subtle impermanence. How do we do that meditation? Imagine that we are together here on 7th, and the program started on 8th, and towards the end of the retreat, the organizer said, okay, people, plant a tree here, Bodhi tree here, in memory of our coming together on this very holy, sacred place where His Holiness, it so happened that His Holiness is also here, and our teacher, Venerable Geshe Pandit Dalai is here, and many generation of the generation, it has been producing incredibly brilliant masters who manifest the experience bodhicitta, manifest the experience the wisdom of emptiness, and so forth. So in memory of that, we're going to plant the people tree or the Bodhi tree. And after 10 years, 2036, we all happen to come back and we see a huge tree next to a place where 10 years ago it was just open space with no tree. Oh, how come there was a tree there? We all surprised. It's not that for the last 9 years and 11 months, this sapling that we planted, it was sleeping, and suddenly, oh, tomorrow comes 10 years, so I have to grow to 10 feet. Instantly, it grew 10 feet. No, that's not how it happened. Every year, it is growing to 1 foot. So eventually, after 10 years, it grew to such a height, 10 feet tall tree. Okay, so the first year, it grew just 1 foot tall. And this 1 foot tall, again, is not that the last 11 months it had been sleeping, last 11 months and 29 days it's sleeping. And oh, tomorrow comes this 1 year, and it popped up to one foot. No. Every month it was growing. Growing meaning changing. Every month it was changing. And the change that we see in the month is possible only if the change is happening on the daily basis, every day. And the change that we see in the day is possible only if the change is happening on the hourly basis, 24 hours. And the change that we see in 1 hour is possible only if the change is happening on the minute by minute level. And that change is possible only if there's a change happening on the second by second. And this change is happening only if there's a change happening on the millisecond by millisecond. Now think of all the composite phenomena, they are changing millisecond by millisecond. Hour by hour, you may find it a little difficult to see that with the eyes. Minute by minute, also difficult to see. Look at the minute hand of the clock. Second by second, yes, we can see the change. Take. This is the change that we see on the level of the seconds. Then on the level of the 1 second split into 100 divisions. Just press your timer later on. Press your timer on your mobile and see how the digits move. These move so fast. You can identify the digits, but you can register the digits in your mind. And this 1 second split into 1,000 parts. You can't even see the digits moving. It's like just worms moving so fast. You can identify digits. This is how all the composite phenomena, all composite phenomena, impermanent phenomena, they are moving that fast. Your body's moving at that pace. Your body, this hall, your parents, and people who you are close with, and whole world, whole universe is going through this constant flux of change, like how the digits move when you press that timer. This is exactly how composite phenomena are moving. It's so quite scary. You look at the walls, you look at the pillars, you look at somebody else. We see them with the naked eyes, we see them as though like they're so static, not changing. This is the illusion. This is a limitation of our consciousness. The reality is that all composite phenomena, they move so fast. It's quite scary. It's quite scary. It will be very helpful if you can sit for retreat on these contemplation impermanence, gross impermanence, subtle impermanence. So that experience will lead us to get a feeling that is though like you are picked up, you are on a train, the platform, and the stranger picks you up and throws you in a very fast moving train. What do you feel? Very scary. Why? Because we don't know where this train is taking us. Faster train moves, more the fear. Yes, this is exactly what we're scared of. We see that our bodies move so fast, changing so fast. And the whole world, the whole building, your parents, your children, your husband, wife, your relatives, your colleagues, people around, everyone, as long as they are composite phenomena, they are following this principle that moves so far. It's very scary. Who decides? Impermanence means this moves so far towards the end of the state. With the result, where is this train taking us? Train of impermanence taking us. Who decides? The train driver decides. If the train driver is a terrorist, if is your mother, no doubt it'll take you to a picnic spot. But if the train driver is the terrorist, it'll take you to a slaughterhouse. In our case, our train driver is a mind, and unfortunately, although the mind per se is not a terrorist, but the mind is under the dictate of the terrorists, like what happened to the Twin Towers in America. The pilots themselves, they're not bad, but they are in the hands of the terrorists. So it led these aeroplanes into the Twin Towers. This is exactly what's happening. Although our mind is not terrorist, but this mind is under the dictate of the two worst terrorists, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. As long as we are under the dictate of these terrorists, they will only take us to miseries. It's very scary. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things of suffering nature. Our mind is contaminated by the worst of the terrorists, worst of the contaminations, self-grasping ignorance. And that contamination was driven by self-centered attitude. So that invariably takes us to the more miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as all contaminated things of suffering nature. Contaminated means there should be a contamination. Contamination here refers to the afflictions. And what is under the influence of afflictions will invariably take us to the miseries. What kind of miseries? 3 kinds of miseries. Given that this is a very technical class with NMC 1 and 2 as the main audience, you should be mindful of, be aware of these all 3 kinds of miseries: suffering, change, pervasive condition, suffering. And suffering so evident, so painful, immediately painful. Suffering and suffering change is so devious to lure us to try continuously and to make us to suffer, make us to go through this suffering, driven by the lure of the suffering change and the pervasive condition suffering, the mastermind of these 2 miseries, and which always remains hidden from us. We feel the presence of the suffering, and we feel the pain of suffering. But with suffering change, we feel the presence of suffering change, but we don't feel the pain of suffering change. And the pervasive condition suffering, let alone feeling pain of the pervasive condition suffering, we don't even feel the presence of this under the dictate of self-grasping ignorance. We don't see that. It remains hidden. It's hiding from our sight, from our awareness. This is the worst of the suffering, pervasive condition suffering, the mastermind of the other 2 sufferings. This is what Acharya Dharmakirti said, that meaning that when the Buddha taught in the first term of the Dhamma that this is the truth of suffering, and the truth of suffering is to be identified, Buddha meant the pervasive condition suffering, not the first 2. First 2, of course, you have to understand them, but to really feel the renunciation, we will identify the third pervasive condition suffering, how devious this pervasive condition suffering is, the mastermind for all the miseries. And with this class, the immediate suffering, the immediate pains, suffering, just one moment of such a suffering is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of the merriments, festivities, birthday parties, celebrations, so forth. And for those who more realize, will see this, the suffering is just nothing. Suffering changes, so devious, luring us to continue to remain in samsara. And the highest level of the practitioners see that pervasive conscious suffering is the ultimate suffering, which one feels so averse, great aversion to the pervasive conscious suffering. So with this, think of these, so whatever level that you reach, for many of us, contemplating on the suffering, it just feels the gravity of the pain, and we just want to, enough is enough, I want to get away from this. But when will this stop? When will this stop? 2025 stopped on its own. We did not do anything. Because when will these miseries stop? Suffering change, and pervasive consciousness. When will this stop? Don't expect that one day is going to be a day that they will automatically stop. It'll never happen. Impermanence, while we'll classify them into two groups, we also see that we can classify them into three groups. One class of impermanent phenomena, which invariably comes to an end, whose continuum invariably terminates, like 2025. There's another class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum never terminates, like our mind, or time, and so forth. There's a third class of impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates only if we put concerted effort, we put conscious effort. Only then we can expect to see these and the the continuum terminates, like miseries, suffering, like the contaminant karmas, afflictions, inappropriate tension, and self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. These will stop only if we put conscious effort, otherwise they will never stop on their own. Okay, I'm tired of these sufferings, miseries. What should I do? How do I stop it? Stop the cause of the miseries. This is what the Buddha taught. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagati hevatat desham jayu nirodha evam vadhyama shramana swaha. So how to stop the causes of miseries? Yes, ultimately, from contaminant karma, given rise to by afflictions, given rise to by inhibition, and finally, self-grasping ignorance. How to stop that? To stop that, given the root is the ignorance, the counterforce to be introduced should be the wisdom. And what is that wisdom? The wisdom is wisdom by the very definition is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is the nature of emptiness, selflessness. Okay, what is emptiness? So since that this is already, you're already introduced to emptiness in your courses, NMC or NDC. So let's quickly meditate on emptiness. Okay, today we'll meditate on emptiness of the self. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Okay, just tell me, how does this person who you identify as I appear? As like a dream that your mind is projecting it? Or it is so intrinsically objectified, solidly there, independent of my mind? How does it appear? Of course, it appears so objectified, so solidified, so solid there, independent of my mind. This belief in yourself to be existing in that form is known as self-grasping ignorance. And what I do that, how I know that, how can I know that this ignorance is not a wisdom? Yes, to evaluate if this self truly exists the way it appears as subjective, real, independent of my mind, to evaluate that, remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage but water, one not those close by the mirage see water. With a similar tone reasoning, if the self who I identified as I, if this word exists objectively, why don't I see the self as I go closer to the object? Okay, now let us go closer to the object to see if it does exist objectively. That is known as subjecting this person or this object to ultimate analysis. Now, subjecting this self to ultimate analysis by going closer to this self, just ignore all those things which are not this, which are the objectively not the self, because you are interested in this objective existence self or the objective existence I. Going closer, subjecting the self to ultimate analysis, we end up seeing the very thin layer of the skin, behind that the fatty tissues, behind that the muscles, the cartilages, the whole skeleton, heart, the lungs, the liver, all the solid parts constitute element of earth. And element of earth is not to be identified as intrinsically as the self, not as intrinsically as one with the self, or not as intrinsically as the self. Element of water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart of different parts of the body. Element of fire, 2006 joules of energy of your body. In short, in simple terms, the body heat. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Element of space, 99% of our body is just vacuum. It's just made of billions of atoms, and the atoms, the space between the nucleus and the electrons is so vast. In comparison with these space occupied by the electrons, protons, neutrons. So essentially we are a vacuum. But of course I'm not a vacuum, I'm a solid person, and the space is a vacuum in nature. So even the space is not identified as intrinsically as one with the self. What's left now? My mind is left, consciousness is left. I'm a male, I'm a non-male, I'm a female, I'm a non-female, but my mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited based on the body. And also that people can see me, people cannot see my mind. So therefore even this mind or the consciousness is also not me. Good. Okay, now you come too close to the object, too close to the object, which you refer to as the I. Now tell me, what do you see? I just see 6 elements. Tell me, which of the 6 elements, which are the parts of yourself, which of the 6 elements to be identified as objectively, intrinsically, meaning in the eyes of this ultimate analysis, which of the 6 elements is seen as to be as the self? None. If not, see if this self still exists objectively as something different from the 6 elements, intrinsically different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what do you see? Nothing is left there. Now tell me, from the object, where is the self? It simply disappears. It is not to be seen. To my amazement, I discovered that self is empty from the object. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, this is an amazing experience. But what's the benefit of this experience? This is the key. This is so important. In this experience of emptiness, just as the self dissolves, subject to all your sorrows, all your miseries. If you subject them to the same ultimate analysis, you see that all these sorrows that we go through, they're all dissolved into the experience of the emptiness. Wow, that's amazing. Sorrows dissolve, and the peace, uncontaminated peace, dawns in me. This is what the Buddha referred to as the 4th seal, transcending sorrow, overcoming sorrow, liberation from the sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while. Now generate a very strong aspiration. May I forever remain in this experience of the emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. When the absolute uncontaminated peace dawns, stay in this experience for a while. May I forever may I forever remain in this experience of the emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This is the ultimate meaning of renunciation. Otherwise, people say, I want to get away from samsara. I want to get away from contaminant karmas. I want to get away from afflictions. I want to get away from self-graspingness. Yes, these are the meanings of renunciation, but these are not the ultimate understanding, finest understanding. The final understanding, ultimate understanding of renunciation is, may I forever, meaning I renounce, I want to renounce. May I forever remain in this experience of emptiness, where all my souls are transcended, and absolute peace, absolute uncontaminated peace dawns within me. May I forever remain in this experience of emptiness. This is actual understanding, final understanding of impermanence. We just slowly come out this practice. As I said, we are now running out of time. We will, for the Bodhisattva part, let us turn to page 49. For the Bodhisattva part, we will make a Bodhisattva commitment. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Wholeheartedly, okay, first, just take a few seconds to invoke the spirit. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Just feel this, invoke this experience for a while. Now with folded hands, we'll make a Bodhisattva commitment 3 times together. We'll say this together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. So with this mind, let's turn to page 49 and recite the 4 verses as a part of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And His Holiness is, the lotus feet is here in the campus. We're so blessed. And then our teacher Venerable Geshe and His Eminence Gandhi Tirumaj is here. And my teacher Venerable Geshe is here, and so many great teachers are here, and generations after generations, so many great teachers were produced from this place, the birth of the Bodhicitta, the place of birth of Bodhicittas, place of birth of the wisdom of emptiness. This is so precious place, precious holy sacred place. So here, imagine that you are leading this practice of the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, and all the dear Mother Sentient Beings are joining us. Your two parents, all of them members of the children, and all dear Mother Sentient Beings living on the side. Together, I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood of my heart. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Supreme Sangha. I generate the Mother Bodhicitta to wrestle and accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the Mother Supreme Enlightenment, and thought all sentient beings to be my guests, I shall engage in the delightful and excellent practice of full enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha of my heart. Having generated the Mother of Supreme Enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guest, and shall engage in the appealing deeds of excellence and enlightenment. May I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddhahood of my heart. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Supreme Sangha. I generate the Mother Bodhicitta to resolutely accomplish the aims of others myself. Having generated the Mother Supreme Enlightenment, I invite all sentient beings to be my guests, and shall engage in the appealing deeds of excellence for enlightenment, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. The next. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, now let us turn to dedication, page 55, dedication prayers. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenmo say Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as brave Confucius and Samantabhata too realize things they are, also dedicate all this medicine the best way, that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appear in the three times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. From having dispelled all inner outer obstacles and downfalls, such as poverty, despair, oppression, cruelty, epidemics, and natural disasters due to environmental degradation, all beings forever enjoy the glory of peace and happiness. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. May I spend day and night carefully contemplating by what means can I enhance this teaching achieved by the Supreme Savior through strenuous efforts over countless eons. From my two collections, vast the space that I have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great number of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds were smudged blinded by ignorance. Tagge tuje shage riso cho shenge meto dege bonjom serge cha se lo o moni moni ma mona yeswa o moni moni ma shage so chon shenge dege bonjomba serge lumbo tabo jebe go shaye yebo kyola Three prostrations together.